Alright, so welcome back guys. I want your first time here. I'm Vision Hero Boy and I'm in our video. Now today I'm going to be talking about how the recent news regarding Super Sentai rebranding will affect Power Rangers. Now, Power Rangers don't you instant. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit that bell icon. This is more Power Rangers content from me moving forward. Now let's begin. So, if you missed it, my last video was talking about how the recent news came out that Super Sentai is rebranding itself as, I think it's Warrior Heroes or something along those lines. So they're being rebranded and moving into a new direction. Now, the big question now comes down to what happens to PR after this rebranding. Now, we have heard that this new Reboot series and Power Rangers moving forward is all going to be using original content, original suits, everything around that line. This has been going on for years now. I'm pretty sure like at least a couple years ago, they broke off the deal with Toei. So pretty much they're not using Sentai anymore. So in a way, I don't see this affecting PR that much. The only thing I could see that could be a problem or see happening is that if the reboot fails and they just go back to adapting Sentai. Now, this is an interesting one because ever since they quit using Sentai, there are very few seasons left now that could be adapted into PR and that would make sense to be adapted into MMPR. Just mainly due to suit designs, whether it'll, translate well to the States from Japan, whether they would want to use it. We know that like Tokyuger and I think it was Zoonger were adapted because they didn't think it would mesh well with the Western audiences. So, it depends on what they want to do. Like, they could maybe go back and adapt Gouger or Caramanger or something like that. But it also holds into this issue of, as time goes on, will they, if this fails and then they return in years down the road, will they still be able to have access to those suits, and will those suits still be in a condition where they'd be able to be used? So I think that right now, I think Power Rangers' connection to Sentai is pretty much dead. I don't think they're going back to it. I think this is like a completely new area, and I think that PR is pretty much, for better or worse, whatever side you want to be on, is on its own. Personally, I think it's fine. I would kind of want to see what Power Rangers wants to do and can do on its own without having to be supported by Sentai. And in a way, in the past few years, from what I've heard, Sentai has gone and done the same thing with kind of making their own stories and not worrying and having to think about how it would be translated to MMP into Power Rangers. So I think for both sides of the coin, both seasons or both series don't need each other to an extent anymore. Now, moving on to the fact that we got the new show, Warrior Heroes. Now, we don't totally know a whole lot of details about this and what could go on about this. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe they could adapt Warrior Heroes into PR. I highly doubt it, but it's a possibility. We'll have to see what Warrior Heroes ends up looking like, and just because it's Warrior Heroes and connect to Sentai doesn't automatically say, okay, they're going to adapt it, or they should, or it could be. There's a lot of factors that go into how to adapt certain things and how to make certain things work. And that's, again, why we don't get certain monsters, why we don't get certain villains. Again, why they skip certain Sentai. So, when you got this situation, I think that a lot of changes come with it. And whether you like the changes or against it, they're coming. And I think for the most part, you're going to have to put up with it because they are coming. Now, with PR and the Sentai disconnection here, like I said, it allows PR more freedom and it allows Warrior Heroes to do its own thing. Another thing is, now, again, you could say Warrior Heroes might adapt to PR or could be adapted to PR, but I also highly doubt they will go down that route because in certain comments that have been made, it's been stated that they want to bring warrior heroes to the Western audiences. Now, whether they do that or whether it works are two separate things in and of itself. But if you bring warrior heroes, say, to the States, but then also adapt it into PR, you're going to confuse a hell of a lot of people. People are going to get confused, not understand it. Like, you got this warrior hero show that's being released, say, on any channel out here in the United States, but then you also have Power Rangers, which is using content from warrior heroes to create its own show. You're going to confuse people. The general audiences and people outside of PR fandom will get confused. So I don't think they will end up adapting warrior heroes into PR unless they fail to get warrior heroes to gain traction in the West. If they fail to do that, then I could see them trying to work to adapt warrior heroes into PR, if that would work and those two things would gel correctly. But I don't see it being used to adapt PR. I just think that due to the fact they want to expand into the Western world or Western hemisphere, it would just confuse people due to the fact that PR is such a big, or is known in the Western world. And I think people would just get confused by it. So I don't think warrior heroes will be adapted. But what I think will happen right now is that PR is pretty much on its own. They don't have Sentai to use from. They, are on their own now. They're doing their own thing. That's pretty much what we've heard for the Disney Plus Reboot series. And, I think that's a good move to move forward with. Again, we've heard, I don't know if it's confirmed or still rumored, but they cut their ties with Toei. I'm pretty sure that's confirmed at this point. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a couple of years since I reported on that, so I don't keep up with the stuff that goes on with Sentai and Toei. So I don't know. You'd have to correct me in the comments. But, it's in a new state now. Both shows or both franchises are going into a different era here, or new era. When you got PR doing this reboot, you got Sentai doing this rebranding, this is a new era for both shows. And I think what needs to be done is just let these shows be put on their own, and whether let them sink or swim on their own. And I think, moving forward, they should be able to work things out. I think it would be a good way to kind of have these shows, in a way, have their own style and have their own thing. Will it work? We'll have to wait and see. But I think they're just going to be separate now. No Sentai, no PR connections. And I think for the most part, that's for the best. Now, people might argue maybe I'll go back to Sentai. Like I said, though, the issue is that some of these Sentai are so old now and might not even work into adapting into the Western world, that it might be hard. You only, after, Rhea Soldier and everything else, there are very few seasons left to select from. And once you do that, and if they don't do Warrior Heroes, you're kind of done with adapting Sentai. It's kind of hard. I mean, you can go and try to adapt the stuff that came out back in the MMPR, but even then, we don't know the condition of those suits or anything. Those probably are badly damaged at this point. 30 years, there's a lot of stuff to that. So, I think the era of PR using Sentai is over and should be over. I think this whole rebranding and both these franchises going into different eras or new eras is a good kind of jumping off point, a new, reset for both franchises. It gives them a chance to do their own thing, but also, allows creative freedom among the writers of both sides. So, those are just my thoughts, opinions. Let me know yours. Do you think that they will still be working together? Are you okay or happy with Power Rangers not relying on Warrior Heroes? Do you wish they would? Are you somewhere in the middle? Let me know all that good stuff in the comment section down below. So yeah, guys, those are my thoughts, opinions, whether I believe the new Super Sentai rebranded show Warrior Heroes will affect the Power Rangers franchise moving forward. As always, if you like this video, don't get a big thumbs up and share. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit that bell icon. This is more Power Rangers content from me moving forward. And you go for me on Twitter, which I linked in that section on my YouTube channel. As always, I'm Vision Hero Boy Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.